Alright everyone, welcome back to another tier list. It's been a while. I figured that, Total Drama season, the reboot, I guess, is premiering pretty soon, estimated to be around 2022. Super excited, so I figured let's cover some stuff. If you want to see more tier lists, please go request in the comments. Characters, episodes, eliminations, songs, anything really. I'd love to react, because I feel like I have pretty interesting takes. I've been a fan of the show since 11. I wasn't a fan from the very beginning. I was a little too young. It didn't air in my country. I had to see it all online. Through shows like BFDI and II, Battle for Dream Island, and Inanimate Insanity is what sort of the gateway to Total Drama, and eventually Survivor, but that's another story. I'm very excited to rank for the first time. I'm going to keep it short because I feel like we're going to have longer episodes if I continue to do this. Today we're going to be ranking the seasons, pretty bare bones. I feel like everyone's opinions of the seasons are pretty much the same, but I feel like I have a few spicy takes that might be interesting, so let's check it out. So, right off the bat, we're going to go in chronological order here. So right off the bat, we got Total Drama Island, the gold standard. I feel like this is what people think of when you say Total Drama. They think of that first season, they think of how great, how developed, and how just utterly amazing it was. I think every single character really settled with you. I don't think the writing was that great this season. I feel like there were a lot of faults with the writing. Some eliminations are kind of stupid. Jeff, Lindsay, definitely Lashana. A lot of stupid eliminations. But at the end of the day, I don't think they really deterred from the season. I think, just the concept was unheard of at the time. And when I first watched the first episode, I just binge watched it in a few days. Like it was that good. This was 10 years ago, and I still remember the feeling of seeing Ezekiel get eliminated. Like, I was like, man, this is a great show. I love this. I think if I were to comment on the show, it does show its age. Like, it's very clearly an early 2000s, not early 2000s, sorry, a 2000s show. Whereas with the other seasons, you can give it a bit of the benefit of the doubt. Even something like All Stars, or Ridonculous Race, you could look back and be like, maybe this was made a few years ago. No, these seasons are old as heck. All Stars, that's 8 years old now. Ridonculous Race, that's gonna be 6 pretty soon. Whereas Island, I feel like Island and Action are the only two seasons where it's like you can tell their age. You can tell they were late 2000s properties. I would put Island in S tier, and I honestly think that it is the gold standard of what your first season should be. It is just so good. To this day, it's been 15 years and people still are finding out about it. I think it is aged pretty well. Like, obviously there's a lot of stuff that's not for kids, but deal with it, right? Come on, deal with it. The kids won't get it. The teens and the adults probably will. All right, so you gotta deal with it. I feel like the biggest problem is that it's so good that it overshadows the rest of the series, if I'm being honest. If you want more in depth, then as I said, we'll do individual episodes, characters, whatever. We'll do the works. But for right now, S tier, it's the obvious choice. Next up, Total Drama Action. Now, I kind of skipped the season. I feel like that's what most kids who were late to the party did. They saw Island, they were like, action looks boring, let's go to World Tour, with the songs, and new characters, and the different countries. So I actually watched it third. I was supposed to watch it second, of course, but I watched it after World Tour, and my thoughts are, it's kind of boring. It's underwhelming compared to World Tour, but I guess if you were to watch it after Island, you realize there is a lot of character development, there's a lot of filler episodes, and the pacing is a bit more sluggish. But at the end of the day, I would rather take a slow burn kind of season than something that rushes to the end, like Pahkitew or All Stars. I think Action is probably the most... At the time, it was so disliked, but now people have warmed up to it. I think it's really a sequel to Island. It's really the only season that feels like a true sequel, which it is. It's a second chance for some characters, and I guess you could describe it as a filler season, but that's kind of weird. I don't think any season is a filler season, because that implies there's an overarching narrative, which there isn't. But it really does feel the most fillery of the bunch. I don't like some of the directions they took towards the end, specifically the final two. I feel like the final two could have been a little different. You had so many options, and they kind of threw it in the bag. They got Owen to return, Beth made final two, even Courtney is kind of debatable. But I think Action, for what it's worth, it's not as well written as the other two in the trilogy, and it's definitely the dark horse. But I'm gonna give it an A. I think Total Drama Action definitely deserves your love. Check it out. If you were one of the kids that only saw Island and World Tour, please check Action out. You're missing out on a lot of gags and, you know, really one of the only 3 shots you have at some of the OG characters, man. Check it out. Action's pretty great. World Tour. What's there to say about World Tour, man? I think World Tour, if Island is the gold standard of your first season, World Tour is the gold standard of your final season. Now, it's not the final season, but it's the end of the trilogy, the original trilogy as people would describe it. I think it is the end-all, be-all of most shows. I feel like for most shows, it goes out with a bang. You know, the songs, many of them are, not many, a couple of them aren't great, but many of them are memorable to this day. You know, you'll hear these fanboys just singing, "Who you gonna root for? Who's it gonna be?" over and over. Like, it gets stuck in your head. I think the story of Heather and Alejandro is just the perfect culmination of 3 seasons of development for Heather, putting her up against this big bad. It's just the greatest character arc in this show. I wouldn't go so far as to say like any show ever, but definitely in Total Drama, Heather's arc. I have a few hot takes of that. I feel like Heather shouldn't have returned because like her story's done. But that's for another day. Anyway, World Tour. I think it's a brilliant season. I love the teams. You bring back so many characters that has potential, like Noah, Tyler, Ezekiel, and Cody. And sure, some of them, you know, 3 of them didn't make merge, and one of them like barely talked or sang. But I mean, at least you brought it back. It's the funniest season. It's the most serious and dark season. It feels like this epic conclusion of this trilogy. And man, like I don't know. I'm just putting it in S tier. It was released. It was released 11 years ago, and it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. It feels like it could have been made like a year or 2 ago. Then again, I haven't checked it out. Maybe it's not like in HD, so maybe I'm wrong there. But World Tour, greatest season of all time, 100%. At the time, you know, I have a lot of really angry opinions over what the fandom was like at the time, 2011, 2012. World Tour was not as well liked as people thought it was. Like, you know, some people are like, it's not as good as Island or Action. I disagree. It is the best of the 3, and if you disagree, then yeah, that's fine. You can disagree. We don't have to have the same opinion. World Tour is just undoubtedly my favorite, and you know, whenever I think of Total Drama, I probably think of World Tour. That's not true. I probably think of Island and World Tour. Anyway, next up. So that was these are 3 pretty generic takes. I'm gonna drop a bombshell on y'all. Revenge of the Island, S tier. Under Island, of course, but I think Revenge of the Island is so underestimated. I think at the time, people were like, hey, you know, new characters, shorter season, this sucks. But I think in hindsight, it's vindicated by history. We realize Revenge of the Island was a step in the right direction. Not in the right direction, but in a better direction than what it could have been. Pahkitew and All-Stars, yikes. I think every single character, except for one, but she gets voted out first anyway, doesn't matter, is great. I feel like it was the most well-written season. I feel like every other season has really dumb eliminations or contrivances, but this season, I'm pretty sure it's pretty well-written, except for the Dakota thing. That's really the only stupid thing, the Dakota Zoid thing. Like, I found it a little stupid, but it's not poorly written. It's just stupid. And, you know, you get the best versions of some character. You get the best versions of Zoe, of Mike, of Cameron. You get Joe and Lightning, who are just hilarious, and some of the most funny characters. You get the origins of Scott, and this is the only season where you get some fan favorites like Brick and that psychic girl that everyone likes. What's there to dislike? I get it. It's not the OG, but I mean, at least they have cameos. At least they're mentioned every once in a while. I think I don't know. I just think it's such a clean season. I feel like the cast has such great dynamics with each other. Whereas with Pahkitew, it's like, you know, some of the cast members, they just don't even talk to one another. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no, Revenge of the Island, I think, weird. It's super different from the trilogy. Definitely, you know, I understand why people didn't like it. But man, it's not as good. But man, oh man, I think I love it. S tier for sure. Above Action, under Island. It's a completely different show, so it's a little hard to rate. But yeah, man, what's there to say? If you dislike it, I completely understand. But give it a second shot with an open mind, and yeah, maybe you'll appreciate it just a little bit more. it's definitely the weird child because you have, Island World Tour Action as the original trilogy. You got All Stars and Pahkitew as the two bad seasons. You got Ridonculous Race as the return to form, and then you got Total Dramarama, the disappointment. Whereas Revenge of the Island just kind of exists. But in my opinion, it's great. And, it kind of has to do with the fact that I saw this one live. Not live as in I saw it on TV. Like, I was refreshing the wiki page for the episodes to update so I could see what happened. Then I would search YouTube and whatever to watch the episodes because it didn't air in my country. But I guess I have fond memories. This was the first season that was airing as I was a fan, so maybe that's why. Next up, All Stars. Now, here is a pretty interesting take. I'm not going to put it in F. I'm going to put it in C. I think it deserves the hate it gets. It is poorly written. It is a mess. It is a waste. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like this grand finale of the first two generations, but it falls so flat. It's such wasted potential. Why is it so short? I could talk about all these criticisms, but people have talked about it for years now. It's been 8 years since this show aired. I'm gonna explain why. Instead of explaining why it's bad, I'm gonna explain why it's C and not F. The few saving graces are seeing Gen 1 and Gen 2 interact. It's really the only time cross-generational casts have ever interacted. I know that's hard to believe, but that's the only time not including who's Ozzy? Owen talking to Leonard for a split second. This is the only time two generations actually interact. And sure, there's not a whole lot of it. There's actually a lot less than you realize, but it's fun nonetheless. Scott is the best character this season, hands down. It's nice to see Gwen do well again. The first 4 episodes are pretty great, and that's about it. That's why it's C and not F. I think there are a few redeeming graces. It is too little, too late, but hey, you know what? I could watch those first 4 episodes over and over again and just pretend that the show got canceled after that. Also, I have pretty good memories of the season. I actually was watching this live, not refreshing the wiki, actually seeing the episodes as they aired. I remember all the speculation with my classmates. That first episode, though, come on, those first 3 episodes are amazing. 4th one is hit or miss. Then the 5th one, it's in the trash. The 5th episode, Moon Madness, it's just awful. But I mean, yeah, getting to see the Gen 1 characters for the first time live, that was amazing. I didn't get to see World Tour as it was airing, but I got to see this season, and it really was something special. Alejandro coming back as the robot was pretty good. I have so many memories of the first few episodes. After that, it's a blur. People just stopped caring and they realized this season sucks. But I think it's definitely overhated. I think this is the only season I only watched once. Yeah, it might be. I think I only watched All Stars once, but I've seen a few clips here and there, and it's not as bad as people make out to be. But I'm not going to be an All Stars apologist. All right, I'm definitely not that. I just don't think it deserves F. I think they put a little bit of effort, a little more effort than people think it gets. 3 out of 10. Not a 1 out of 10, a 3 out of 10. Anyway. Oh man, I might get hate for that. I might get hate for saying it's a 3 out of 10. Can you imagine? Anyway, Pahkitew. I got mixed feelings on that one. It's weird. Why is it standalone? Why is it such a weird cast? Why does it not feel like Total Drama anymore? It just feels like Chris just had a spin-off, honestly. There's no references to the old cast, other than, I think the very first episode, there's a picture of the island sinking, but other than that, that's it. I get it. It was made by a different company, it was a different time, but the characters are just so zany, and that's fine, but why you gotta put so many weird ones together? Give us a few normal people. I think, you put some of these cast members, you spread them out through different casts with more normal looking and acting ones, fair enough, but this season's just weird, man. And people say it would be good if it was standalone. I disagree. I think even if it was standalone, it's still bizarre. I will say that I think Scarlet Fever, that episode, is very underrated. I don't think it lived to the full potential, but I think it's a unique direction of the series at the time, and even up to now. That episode is probably one of the most unique episodes of the show. It doesn't even feel like a reality show anymore. And that plot twist, oh man. I have harsh words to say about it, but it feels so meaningless. I said no season is filler, but this is probably the closest you're gonna get, just because there's such few it just barely gets any recognition. Oh man, I know Sugar and Ella appeared in Total Drama Daycare, Sorry, Total Dramarama. But other than that, it's like, who cares? Okay, I'm gonna give it B tier. I don't think it deserves to be in the same spot as All Stars, but there's a lot of criticism. I'm gonna give it. It is not awful, but it is a unique direction, and I don't think it's one that works. Revenge of the Island is a unique direction that I think was right. Pahkitew Island is a unique direction I think just is so... It failed. They already tried with Revenge of the Island. I don't know why they would try it again so soon. Like, at least keep it somewhat grounded to the Total Drama universe, but you know what? This was 7 years ago. I can't be too bitter. Also, they aired it, like, within the span of 2 weeks. That wasn't fun. Like, why gotta milk it out as quickly as you create it? Such a waste. Anyway, Ridonculous Race. Now, surprisingly, Ridonculous Race doesn't get as much recognition as I think it deserves. Like, yeah, the hardcore fans, yes, but like, you get people saying, "Oh, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one." No, it is so good. It is like a return to form of this series. I'm gonna put it above Island, for God's sake. That's how good I think it is. I don't have the nostalgia for it. I only saw it a handful of times, but man, it is. I said Revenge of the Island was a step in a weird direction. This takes it that step. This takes a completely fresh step, and I was hoping that this step was where they were gonna go. Unfortunately, they didn't. We never got a sequel. We never got any other Total Drama seasons for 6 years. It's gonna be 7 years coming up soon. But man, I really loved, like, 2015. That was a return to form. You know, there was a drought. We saw Pahkitew, and it was over the span of 2 weeks. We had a pretty long drought, and seeing episode 1 leaked. Episode 1 leaked on YouTube pretty early by someone I think I actually know. But seeing Noah and Owen and Jeff and all these new characters, and knowing it was 26 episode seasons, and knowing they were going around the world, that was a time to be alive, man. And that series, I'm not even joking, I could watch it, like, you know, after I'm done with this video, I might actually watch the whole, like, I love it so much. I think the characters are so dynamic. It's a fresh start to the series. I was so excited, but unfortunately they went on hiatus for like 7 years. No one saw it, so... No, not that no one saw it. I'm guessing it just didn't get the ratings it deserved, because it really deserved all the best praise. It's definitely going to be a weird footnote now that we're returning back to the island. I wonder if they'll make a sequel. I hope they do. Like, I feel like with Island, with the Survivor-based seasons, you expect like this sort of connectivity, whereas with this one, I guess you can do like a fresh start every time because it's a different format. So Ridonculous Race 2, I hope that's in the stars. I mean, the locations, it might be weird because, you know, they might have to repeat some locations, but because there's only so many places you can go in the world, right? But yeah, no, second favorite. Maybe, yeah, it's a world tour and Ridonculous Race are my two favorites. Maybe you just gotta go around the world, make a good season. I don't know. I guess those two seasons help because it really shows, for me, it shows like the diversity of, you know, that this universe isn't just restricted to a summer camp or a film lot. Like these people, these Canadians live in a world, and I think that's amazing. Yeah, man. I honestly, I might watch it tonight. I might binge watch Ridonculous Race tonight. Anyway, last but not least, Total Drama Date. I keep calling it Total Drama Daycare. That's how little I know of it. Total Dramarama. I've not seen it. I've seen a handful of clips here and there. I know the cameos, but other than that, I think it is kind of, it's both a waste and I think the necessary justification. It's a necessary justification. I think the ends justify the means in a sense that without this, we probably don't get the HBO seasons, right? The HBO seasons probably don't happen. We don't get as much fan outrage, which probably steers the producers to be like, oh, you know, we should make a Survivor season again. And hey, getting a younger generation, that's pretty great. You know, when those kids grow up, we'll have more fans. You know, the season might last longer. They'll be like, oh wow, that show I watched at the daycare, there's actually an expanded version of it as teenagers. Heck yeah, it's like the reverse of I guess Recess. I don't know, where you see them as kids and now you see them all grown up. I don't know if is that Recess. I don't know if that's Recess. Like, I get it, it's sort of like the baby spin-off, but like, put yourself in the shoes of the babies that watch this show. All right, they see the baby version of the characters, and then they realize, oh wow, there are 7 seasons worth of these characters as adults. Holy crap, that's amazing. Okay, that's not a great way to describe it, but I think just for that alone, Total Dramarama, you get above All Stars. I haven't actually seen you, but I think you're probably better written than All Stars, so you get C. I mean, it's successfully doing what it does best. Like, I don't like the fart episodes, of course. From what I heard, those are pretty creepy, but I feel like for a kid show, a more kid-oriented comedy show with no stakes, I feel like it does a pretty good job. I haven't seen it though. So. Is that mean? Nah, All Stars gets hated. No one's going to defend it. All right. So here's my list. I hope you enjoy. I had a lot of fun doing this. If you want more, please comment below. Characters, episodes, songs, who's most likely to return. That would be fun. So yeah, if you hate my opinions, please, I don't know, comment how much you hate my opinions. Bye-bye.